Hi, I'm Damon Smith, Extension Field Crops Pathologist for the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Today I'd like to give you the Diseases of Soybean update for the 2020 Pest Management Update series. We'll talk about 3 diseases today of soybean. This year we ran into frog eye leaf spot, which is not a typical disease for us here in the state, but we did see more widespread frog eye leaf spot and higher severity levels than we have seen before. I'll also take the opportunity to talk a little about Saltro versus Olivo when managing sudden death syndrome, and we will revisit ongoing research on white mold, which is a common disease here in Wisconsin. Here's our frog eye leaf spot data from 2020. This is from Arlington, Wisconsin, where we had a fungicide trial. I will say that the frog eye leaf spot pathogen moved in later in the season, so it did not impact yield overall. But we did see statistically significant differences in terms of some of the treatments. Here's the non-treated control at R5 with an average severity of almost 20%. You can see that each of the fungicide treatments gave us a nice reduction, with some of the mixed mode of action containing DMIs giving us the best reductions here. We do know from other research in other states that the frog eye leaf spot pathogen is prone to fungicide resistance, so it'll be important to stay away from sol, strobilurin fungicides when managing this particular disease. You'll need a mixed mode of action or a DMI containing product in order to maximize control. Here's our SDS trial. This was conducted in Brooklyn, Wisconsin at the O'Brien Brothers Farm. You can see the SDS index in the upper chart, yield in the lower chart, and we're comparing a resistant variety with a susceptible variety where we've layered either the Saltro or Olivo seed treatments on the resistance, and we're comparing that against the non-treated control. You'll notice that the resistant variety not responding too much to the seed treatment, but the susceptible variety giving us a nice reduction where we have either Saltro or Olivo. And you'll notice that both Saltro and Olivo are comparable in terms of disease index reduction. When we look at yield, we did not see a tremendous difference in yield here. This could be due to the fact that we had a lot of soybean cyst nematode pressure here, causing some variability across the replicates. However, you can see that the addition of Saltro or Olivo gave us somewhere between 2 and 3 bushels on top of the non-treated control. So at the end of the day, either Saltro or Olivo are pretty comparable in terms of their control of SDS, and I would focus on choosing resistant varieties and then choosing the best seed treatment for SDS in those higher pressure fields. Looking at our white mold data, this is a trial that we have every year where we look at uniform treatments across multiple geographies. In Wisconsin, we did this trial up at Hancock. I have this broken out in 3 different groups. In the green box, these are treatments and programs that were not statistically different from the non-treated check, which you'll find right here. In the blue bars are the disease index scores, and in the orange are our yield scores. You'll notice that we did get creative here. We were looking at things like soil applied Endura right after plant to try to target reducing epithelial germination. We're also looking at T-bands, some drop nozzles and furrow jets, etc., etc. Our B group here, you can see some promising things showing up. Again, Cobra and Endura holding up pretty well in this B group. But you'll notice that Cobra did take a little away from us in terms of yield, not being comparable to the A group here. In the A group, you'll notice we had Endura applied at both R1 and R3. We consider this a positive check, our best case scenario. Can we apply a single application that could keep up with this? We would not recommend this in the real world. You'll notice that Endura at the 8-ounce rate applied at R3 was comparable, giving us almost 82 bushels or so, just about a half bushel shy of that positive check. You'll notice the addition of Cobra at V4, V5, followed by Endura, though, did take a little bit from us, about 5 bushels. So there is some injury, again, still associated with the application of Cobra, but those plots do tend to be fairly clean, given the fact that Cobra is quite effective against white mold. just be careful and reserve that Cobra treatment for those fields that are traditionally heavier with white mold severity. We do continue to work on integrated management of white mold, and we layer seeding rate and fungicide applications on top of fertility here. The idea being, can we look at high fertility and low fertility environments and understand what the interaction of seeding rate and pesticide treatment might be on reducing disease index score. You can see in the high fertility location here, we do have more disease index. That's expected because of the thicker canopies being more conducive for white mold. You'll notice in the low nitrogen environments here, we have less disease index. And if we go down to 100,000 seeds per acre, you can see we further drop that disease index score down. And we further help ourselves out by applying Endura here. You'll see virtually no disease in that combination. If we look at the yield scores, it turns out there was actually no difference in yield in the high versus low fertility. So those are lumped together in this particular analysis. But you can see there are differences with seeding rate and also the treatments. Interestingly, the 100,000 seeds per acre seeding rate actually out-yielded the 160,000 seeds per acre. This would be sort of expected because we did have quite a bit higher disease index in that 160,000 seeds per acre. You also notice that the addition of Endura here gave us a nice bump in yield compared to using Cobra or comparing against the non-treated control. So we continue to recommend folks looking at not only widening row spacing, but dropping planting population down and then layering those fungicide applications on top to really maximize the control of white mold. This concludes the soybean update for the pest management update meetings. Here's my contact information with phone, Twitter, at Badger Crop Doc, and of course my email. And if you'd like to learn more about field crop disease management, of course, badgercropdoc.com. Thank you.